Welcome to section 6.1. We are going to focus on the basics of polygons. So let's start by defining what a polygon is. A polygon has two basic characteristics. First, it must be a closed figure. And second, it needs to have three or more sides. So the smallest polygon then that you could have would be a triangle. Okay, let's construct a five-sided polygon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where each side meets is called a vertex. So if you have five sides, you're going to have five vertices. Now if I pick any two vertices, and they cannot be next to each other, if I draw a segment from If I draw a segment from one vertex to another, and again, these vertices must not be consecutive, then this is called a diagonal. Okay, so polygons are named by the number of sides that they have. Now on this sheet of paper, or on your notes, you have several different sizes listed. What I want you to do is hit pause on the video and go through the list and see how many sides you can name. And then check your answers by hitting play. Okay, so you should end up with 3 sides as triangle, then a quadrilateral, 5 is pentagon, 6 is a hexagon, 7 heptagon, 8 octagon, 9 nonagon, and 10 decagon. Now, some of these may have surprised you. I would be very happy if you knew the 11-sided. Anything after 10, some of them do have specific names, but for our purposes, we're going to just name them a general 11gon. So if you have any other sides, like 13 sides, 15 sides, 20 sides, we would just call that an n-gon, where n is the specific number of sides you have, such as a 20gon for 20 sides, 21gon for 21 sides, and so on. Okay, so we name polygons according to the number of sides that they have, but there are several ways you can classify a polygon. First of all, if you have a polygon and all of its angles are congruent. Now think about it, a triangle where all 3 angles are congruent, we call that an equiangular triangle. That's the same thing a polygon would be called. What do you call a triangle if their sides are congruent? Well, you would call it an equilateral triangle. So that's also what you would call a polygon. So a polygon that has both characteristics, equiangular and equilateral, so equal sides and equal angles, then that polygon is called a regular. There are also other ways to classify polygon. For instance, a polygon is called blank if an extended side does not go through the interior of the polygon. So let's talk about what that means. So I have a polygon and I'm just going to do 4 sides. There we go. If I extend any side and I draw it as a line, and it does not pass through the polygon, then we say that that polygon is convex. If it does pass through the polygon, for instance, something that looks like this, and it can only be, it doesn't have to be, as long as it works for one side, it works for the whole thing. So that side works, that's still concave. But here, watch what happens as I draw a line on that side. This part right here goes through the polygon. So it's no longer concave, or it's no longer convex, it's now concave. And the way to tell the difference between convex and concave, I think of as, when I hear concave, I think of it as going into a cave. So if a side goes into the polygon, then it is concave. Hopefully that helps you. Now we're going to put all of those terms, all those classification systems that we talked about with polygons to practice. So on example 1, we want to tell whether the polygon is regular or irregular. Irregular means it's just not regular. And then we need to state whether it is convex or concave. So in order for a polygon to be regular, you're looking for all sides and angles are congruent. So I'm just going to make a note of that. Sides congruent and angles need to be congruent. And if it doesn't work for that, then it's known as irregular. All right, so we're going to go through here. Well, in the first picture, we have opposite angles are congruent, but they are not congruent to each other. These two are congruent, and then those two angles are congruent. But the red and the blue angles that I have marked are not congruent. So this would be irregular. Even though all the sides are congruent, I can say that it's equilateral, but it is not both equilateral and equiangular. Okay, now is it convex or concave? So if you're going to draw on each side, and the side does not pass through the polygon, do you remember what word we call that? Convex. If it does not go into the polygon, it's known as convex. Example 2. Well, right away, if I check for regularness, I can see that all the sides are not the same length, so it is not regular. I don't even need to worry about the angles. Is it going to be concave or convex? Well, let's draw. That's convex. But right here, this side passes through the polygon. So it goes inside of the polygon, which means this polygon is concave. Hopefully you guessed concave. The third example for number 1, I'm going to let you finish. Make sure you state both type of classifications. We will finish the rest of the notes when you come back to class.